I love this shot, by the way, Daniel.
Me too.
Perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Did you have to take a lot of shots with him? I bet you didn't.
Um, you know, you don't want to overshoot because that certainly can make it seem like
Yeah.
that's not a good look. You got to know when you got the shot. You have to be mindful of how many looks there is to accomplish and how much time you have with that celebrity.
Right.
For example, when I photographed Jeff Daniels, it was on a Sunday morning. Everyone was just super tired. Like everybody was just like dragging. And you could just tell everyone wanted to get it done as soon as we could. And I shot so fast and so little that I was actually worried that I, you know, didn't do enough or I captured enough options. But in the end, it was fine. But typically, more often than not, I usually know when I have the shot.
Are you a big planner?
I do like to know where I'm shooting. If it's somebody important, it does help to scout, get an idea of what the best flow and use of time, best workflow would be. Most of the time with photo shoots, people have to remember that, when you're actually there taking the picture, that happens fairly quick. It's like painting. All the time is in the preparation, understanding your light, how to use the space in a way that tells some kind of story. Those are things that are important to think about ahead of time. But also, I always give myself permission to change my mind as well, because you want people to be who they are. So I just try to encourage people to think about what makes sense in the space that they're in, especially if it's a natural environment where you have a furniture or an environment. And I'll even just have a chit chat. I'll just say, hey, let's pretend that you're waiting for your very first love and you haven't seen her in 20 years and you're not sure how you're going to feel, or so that gets people out of their heads. I'll give them like a scenario, or I'll tell them to think about their dog or tell me what they did last week. And it could be really light and subtle.
What's your favorite lens?
It depends what I'm shooting, honestly. It depends on, if I need to shoot a lot really quickly, I'll use a longer lens. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can come in tight, I can blur out the background. So I can accomplish more faster, but maybe the pictures, and that's fine if you're not using the photos, say for print work, say it's for social media. So the detail can be a little, it can be there, but not as good as it could be. But for social media, it's fine. So it really depends on the circumstance. But if I'm photographing, when I shot Michael Shannon, he's another amazing actor I was like, he has such an interesting face. I wanted a nice prime lens. So, I remember like the day before I spent a few grand, it's like, I need this lens. Cause
which lens was it?
It was just an 85, like 1.2. It's great for portraits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good portrait lens. Funny thing there, it was, also what you'll deal with a lot with celebrities is a lot of people, a lot of chaotic energy. Everyone's trying to do their best work. So there's anxiety that can happen in those environments. And I remember with Michael, which celebrity I'm talking about? Michael Shannon. I was thinking all of a sudden Michael Strahan, because I shot him too, two Michaels. But cool. Michael Shannon, he's a very gentle spirit, very yeah, whatever you need me to do, Doesn't even necessarily like his photo, I think, taken too much. And I grabbed him and I just said, look, just come over here real quick. And I had like this little black paper backdrop. And I said, let's just take a few shots in your denim shirt that you're wearing, because this is you. And I could recognize that. And I think he could appreciate that I, in a way, pulled him away from the energy. And that ended up being the shot that they ended up putting on the cover. It's one thing to know how to use a camera and it's the thing that is hard to teach is to be instinctively aware of what people are saying without words and giving them the space to be who they are and make them feel safe.
Like, what role do you play in asking your the people what clothes to wear And like, what role? How does that work out? Like, if you could explain that, right?
Again, that depends. So if I'm photographing a law firm, depending on the type of law they're doing, I will suggest a tie or not a tie. Earth tones, colors that complement people's eye colors. Typically, you want to stay away from light tones like white shirts. In photographs, when it comes to really capturing somebody's eyes, you don't want too much fighting the eyes in a sense of color, patterns, or even tonality. So usually darker tone colors, earth tone colors are more complementary to people's, brings more attention to the eyes. When you look at an image, I've always been taught that your eye is naturally drawn to the lighter parts of the image. That's why I feel like, really dark tone work I love, because it draws you to the subject's eyes so much more. If you have a lot of light tonality happening around the subject, that's okay. Like in this picture, for example, we're selling a shirt. You know what I mean? So we don't want the guy to overpower the clothes. We want to see a shirt, but it's got to look like this guy's actually on the beach, and he is. So there is kind of an art form to understanding tonality and where you want the viewer's eye to go and why.
Hey. So is that something that you learn, or a combination of experience and?
Yeah, you learn from experience, definitely.
Yeah.
There'll be brands, they need what's called a hero image, which is a landscape shot, and they'll be like, hey, we need shots that'll fit the width of the screen for our website. So I have to consider creating what's called some negative space, so that way you can write some copy next to the image. So graphic designers really appreciate that. So these are all Polaroids, black and white Polaroids. There might be one you can really see it in here, like on the side of his face. There was like sweat. Actually, there's someone just expressed interest to buy this whole series from me.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a big country music star now, but he was the Armani guy for years.